All right, episode 140. Episode 140. Today, we've got Nick Krem in studio. We're going to talk about the top 3 best practices for video in real estate. And if you're not ready to do real estate or videos or any of it, then get ready to bag groceries. We're going to get started.
Ooh, let's get it
right now.
Get that going.
We should have done that for sure.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, episode 140. Thank you for joining us today. Today, we have Nick Krem in studio. Ooh. He has all these companies like Content Cards and Krem Creation and Krem Video.
Krem Creations is his dessert baking business.
And then we got
Krem Creations.
Creme de la Creme, the top shelf
of
the bakery business.
Exactly. So we've got him going to share the top 3 best strategies for you to do videos in real estate that's really guaranteed to help you become that go-to celebrity agent in your marketplace, to help you get more business and to help you get more referrals, because that's how I met you originally, Nick, is working on that. But before we dive into this, right, we have to thank our number 1 and number 2 sponsors. Which one's number 1 and number 2?
Now you put me on the spot. I freaking knew you were going to ask me that.
So you should be ready.
Man, well, let's just say they're tied.
They're tied.
But
that's like saying which kid is your favorite. Which kid is your favorite kid? No, they're both.
That's a real Sophie's choice.
Yes.
Which one will I let fall off a cliff? Sorry, Theron, you're falling off the cliff. But until he does, make sure you check out Armadillo Home Warranty. Best home warranty business in the game. You don't want to ever have to use a home warranty company, but when you do, it can be about the most frustrating experience in the world because most of them suck. Armadillo does not. Refer your buyers to them. Get them on your rental properties. Armadillo.1/tour, TORE. Check out Armadillo Home Warranty.
All right. Our other favorite chillings. They're equal. They're equal.
Look, we both want them all to do great and succeed in this world. Eat their vegetables and grow 2 big, strong boys.
If they were both hanging off of a cliff and you had to save one of them, we're going to save both of them because they're equal. They're equal here, right?
100%. Or let them both fall.
Well, yes,
because they're equal.
Yeah, they're equal. So
either save them both or we don't save them all.
100%. And that is. Look, if you're needing a good property management company here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you need to connect with Homeward DFW. Just go to homewarddfw.com. They are the top-notch property management company here in the area. The owners of this have a ton of investment properties. They know what investors are looking for. They know how to screen those tenants. And look, we even did some role playing with Kelderman over here of what an investor is going to be looking like.
We sure did.
That's right. So go to homewarddfw.com and let them know that you're interested in role playing with Kelderman.
Yeah. And then while you're there, go to mortgagemecatexas.com. He would have fallen off the cliff hours before we got there.
Yes. Because of all the fireballs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We could have never saved him. We never had a shot.
Yeah.
I was just watching the live stream as I was looking down at something on my phone, and as soon as the camera switched over to me, I saw Brian's hand go flying in.
I thought to
grab his new delicious surf claw.
I had figured out the perfect dead spot in our camera setup, which I hide my White Claw, and I was so wrong. And I was waiting for it to cut to Matt to see if I was right.
I thought that was going to be the new sponsor coming on. White
Dude,
Claw.
we have been trying to get White Claw to sponsor this show forever. They do not return any of our calls.
We shouted about it on a Thanksgiving video like 3 years ago.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't help when you call me around 2 a.m. asking to get sponsored.
Right. Fair enough.
Sending them those video text messages, right?
So Nick, kind of break us down who you are. You've shared with us in our group, the only real estate group worth being a part of.
Right.
But this is the first time being on the show. So kind of give the backstory of how you got in real estate, and then how did you get into the real estate marketing side of this?
Right. So I got into real estate, and I was doing every real estate agent's. I don't drink. Thank you, though. Yeah. I got into every real estate agent's favorite position. I was on the phones literally 15 hours a day, calling from 8 a.m. on the East Coast to 8 p.m. on the West Coast. During that time, I didn't realize, you name a CRM, I was in the back end of it. You name a value proposition, I pitched it. You name a brand strategy, I learned it. And, during that time, I got to learn about all the different ways that you can reach out to agents and really take a lead of 1,000 agents, 1,000 different leads in a database. how to take these old leads, bring them back to life. And really what it came down to is we would be calling 8 hours a day, the warmest leads. And if the people did not know who that agent was, if their brand did not exist, we would call them. We could give them their social security number. They'd still say, I don't know who it is. I didn't fill out that form. But then these agents, we would call 3 hours a day, circle down around $1 million neighborhood. We would get 4, 5, 6 listings a month because that agent had a big brand. So for us, that's when I really realized the power of branding and what we wanted to do with it. From there, we started working with guys like Jay Kinder, Mike Reese, Al on the back end. And for us, we started working like for free because we were just saying, you know what? We want to show we know what we're doing. And we also realized, like you were saying too, the power of referral, the power of showing good work for people and growing your business that way. To this day, we've only spent about $200 in ads. We did it one time and I'm just like, dude, this isn't for us. So we've been able to grow our business into all 50 states and 13 countries solely off organic video marketing and the referral system. So we've been able to do that because we know the power. Ooh, they got a little loud there, right? because we know the power of video, because we know how to leverage other people's audience and also create that win-win. You can't just leverage someone's audience and expect to keep winning, keep getting referrals. So it's figuring out, how do I truly create, man, I'm adding so much more value to you. We're just going to keep sending business back and back and back. So for us, I think the biggest thing that we've done is make videos simple. A lot of times people say easy, but easy is different for everybody. You know what I mean? Like when we say easy, sometimes it's like, dude, I can go on the back end here, or who do we got? So we got like people on the back end working this process. It's easy for them. For me, I go back there, dude, I don't know how to do these shortcuts. I don't know how to do this back end. So for me, we make things simple. There are times I send stuff to my grandma, like my social media training. I'm like, hey, can you do this? And if she can't, she's going to send it back and say, here's what I didn't know how to do. So we're going to make it simpler. Because I understand most social media and tech companies, they start with their product in mind. This is the greatest thing ever. 100%. If you stop everything you're doing and do my product, you're going to win. 100%. Dude, you guys got to answer your phone. I know what the life of a real estate agent's like. You got to answer your phone. You got to get in front of people. You got to go to listings. You got to go to showings. And then I have to drop everything I'm doing to learn your program. It doesn't work that way. So what we did is, how do we make this as simple as possible? How do we take that 20 minutes in a day that you have and get you to not only shoot content, but then follow up with videos and stay consistent? So for us, making things simple has been our MO.
Dude, and that's been, I honestly remember we got told very early on before we even started the podcast that if we made it to episode 17, we would show some consistency. We're on 140, but that is just super true. Dude,
that's
because
fantastic.
It's awesome. But we've also had a standing appointment at 3 p.m. for 4 years. I do a ton of video for my business, and consistency is the most. Everybody loves the idea of like recording a video when they see it's like, oh, why didn't I think of that? Right? It's because there were so many things going on in the back end as far as the idea, your ability to actually get on camera and not look ridiculous, right? The editing, the dissemination of the information, and even looking ridiculous is probably good sometimes. But staying consistent with all of those things, it's just for most people, I'm not good at all of them. I can do the camera stuff, but editing and like pushing it out and the ad copy, I'm trash at that stuff. Right. And so I think a lot of agents love the idea of being able to do this. And then when they sit down in front of a camera or really start trying to push out, they realize how much more work is involved in video. Yeah. And I think a lot of it also comes down to, you get all these courses and these gurus trying to explain everything. And these gurus are they're terrible. And they're telling you have to put, you can cuss on this. They're fucking awful. I can't stand these gurus that come out here. The algorithms changed by my new course. Dude, the only thing you need to know about social media is if you entertain them, they're going to put you at the top. For sure. That's it. You know, but then they tell people you got to post it 2 minutes long, now 3 minutes long. Now it's got to post it at 8 a.m., 9 a.m. I got so sucked into that.
In their head. Oh, I did too. And then I started to realize, dude, we did a live with leaders. We had a 9.5 hour mastermind. And most people said if you do it over a half hour, you're screwed. 9.5 hours. We had 10,000 people tuned in live, and the average watch time was 6.5 hours. And from there, I was like, dude, all those things are a freaking myth.
But how did Live with Leaders come about? Because that was a pivot, by the way.
Dude, that was a pivot and a half. Because, we were planning to come out to Dallas. So what we did is, at the time, so I just started my first business, right? At that time, I literally sold everything I had, moved back into my parents. I'm like, dude, we're going to start this business, right? And our entire game plan was based on, because we were doing events for like these big guys across the country. I'm like, dude, we're going to do events all over the country. That's how we're going to blow up our brand. Because I got good relationships through like the parties that I had, like Jay and Al and those guys, with some of these big names. So we're going to go show them how to put on events. That's the value I'm bringing to them. I will literally give you the exact game plan of how to put on an event. And all we ask is that we get to pitch and we get to speak. For them, that's a no-brainer. what happened was I had about 16 events lined up across the entire country. My entire business model was based on these events. 2 days before, I was about to do 4 events in 4 days in New York City, Manhattan, the Bronx, Long Island, and Queens.
Yeah.
COVID. Literally, like, not even just COVID, like, that's when it shut down.
Everything was, the whole city was
so
locked down.
I pouted 45 minutes. I kid you not. I was throwing things all over my house. I was so pissed. Thank God my parents went home. They would have freaked out. I was breaking so much shit. And then I got to cover it up quick before they came home, right? They still don't know that. So it's a private group here, so we get to share this one, right? But I was breaking shit. And then I was like, what if we did this virtual? So then I reached out to all 16 people I was about to do it with, and they were like, yes, they were on pace for the pivot. And I'm not saying we were the first ones to do the virtual event, but I'll tell you what, a month after we did Live with Leaders, NAR did Leadership Live, and they literally copied the game plan that we had. So for us, we just did the exact, like, what we wanted to do is we wanted to make like the Super Bowl of masterminds, like virtual masterminds. So we had sponsors, but not just sponsors. We didn't do a 2-minute commercial. And then we had like a pump-up song with like the speaker before it. So it'd be like the speaker, commercial, like going into like the transitions. Yeah. So we were just like, you know what?
The cool thing about the virtual format, you can really pump your sponsors a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like that's
it makes it easier, and you're able to reuse it, right? So in the live version is you've got one shot to really honor your sponsors. Like, look, tomorrow, depending on if you're watching this live right now, tomorrow we're doing the Good to Great live event. Kelderman's coming on there. Nick Krem is, Justin Nelson. So a lot of the people we've had on the show. And from that is we have one shot to really honor those in-person sponsors, but the virtual sponsors, we're also able to then go and resell it, reuse it, and are in the marketing efforts. And so that's something that we're taking this even on the Only Real Estate podcast.
We're doing it now. I mean, instead of ever mentioning our sponsors again, starting next week, it's just going to be a 30-second short
commercial
that is the backer shooting a fireball, spiking it on the ground into an armadillo, which then explodes, and then it goes Homeward Property Management. And that's just going to be the whole spot.
Is this true?
No, but that would be
I was like, dude, I'm tuning in. I don't know what they're selling.
Michael Bay to direct it.
I'm buying. Right. There's explosions everywhere.
Most confusing.
Yeah.
I would love it.
Yeah, that would, but as we get into your number one strategy for doing video better, I mean, look, just doing video alone, how many times, like for Mortgage Mike, for example, I would love to see him, he even came up with this Mortgage Mike stamp of approval idea while having a little of fireball shots or whatever. But, how great would it be to see if you're in the lending side trying to go after real estate agents or even direct to consumers, this over the top stamp that just says approved, and he's just running around stamping things approved, approved, right? And
promotion.
You do that, and you just start standing out. I mean, Kelderman before the show was sharing Bob Tompkins or whatever the guy's name is, and the guy was doing real estate song parodies, and that has millions of views.
Yeah.
So why is it
that dude's gonna get popped by some copyright stuff at some point?
That's what I always thought about.
I think there's a law that if it's an obvious parody, then you don't have to do anything.
I think there is, because I've always wondered too, like with YouTube and things like that, like how do people like have a movie that they're sitting there commenting on, like, and not breaking up like all kinds of licensing laws?
I always see the NBA and TNT. You can't repurpose this video, and I see guys literally just posting the exact game and commenting on it. And I'm thinking, there we go.
In the United States, prior to a person in a form of expression.
That's how Weird Al gets around on it.
Yeah, that's it.
It's the fair use exception.
I like how you guys do this too, by the way. Like, have this computer. That's a good touch.
You almost make it look like we know what the hell we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
That does beg the question, though, because going back to Mortgage Mike's big oversized stamp and everything. There are two things that hold people back, in my opinion, from shooting video, distributing video content at a high level. Yeah. One is the back end. When they get into it, they don't realize there's a lot that can go into it, right? And that's where guys like you do a great job of simplifying the process. The other is just that fear of, I don't know what to do. Like when we all say, what do I do with my hands? Yeah. And for people like us that are maybe more high D personalities, like we're okay failing forward and just hitting record and making asses of ourselves, right? That's why we started this show. What is your advice for, I really have to start amplifying my layers of marketing with great branding and great video content? What do I do when I hit record?
I think the biggest thing is they fear of what people will think of them. Like,
undoubtedly
fear of that, what people will think. And what I like to think about is this, unfortunately, I had a good buddy of mine pass away recently, and way too young. And I was going through things and it just kept hitting me. I'm like, the thing I kept thinking is like, man, I wish I had more pictures and videos. I wish I had more videos. And then I got to think, I'm like, man, at my funeral, like when that day comes, nobody will be able to say they wish they had more video.
Yeah.
Like then they're like, dude, we have so much.
You're like,
so
we're tired of this guy.
Yeah, but when I really start thinking about this too, something I believe that we all think about, maybe not talk about, is like the legacy that we're going to leave, not just ourselves, but our family. Yeah. Like, what are they going to think about like 3-4 generations from now? I'll tell you what, they're going to be able to go back to my timeline and not just know who I was, be able to sit here and learn from these things that I'm doing.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to sit here and learn from this. So for me, when I think about video, and then something else, man, we were able to start a nonprofit that fights child trafficking, went over to Thailand and shot a documentary just because we were on video. Wow. There's these 2 women that were basically saying, you guys might know them, Beth Ann Jones and Nikki Gregory.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, they're agents against child trafficking.
Yeah.
You know, they came up to us at a mastermind. And I went to this mastermind and I was managing a call center at the time, right? And man, like when I went in there, I was like, Al basically snuck me in there. Like there was like the #1 team in California, like these big teams were all there. And there I am. I'm like, fuck, how the hell did I get in there? But you know, I left there. These guys were talking about how they had to cancel Netflix subscriptions to get by. They had to sell their house and literally live in a car to get the real estate building they wanted. And I went out there like, dude, I can do anything too. I went in there thinking like, how the hell am I in here? I walked out there thinking like, dude, these are just freaking humans. Yeah. And these 2 women came out to me. I didn't know them that well at the time. They're like, hey, we're about to give up on this idea, not because we're not passionate. We just don't know how to spread it. We don't know how to market it. But we just feel like you're the right people for this. Going into that, I probably would have said, no way.
So what did that look like? How did it play out? How did this all come about after that?
Yeah, so after that, we just sit down with them like, hell yeah, we're the right people for this. So we actually created the branding, Agents Against Child Trafficking. Worked out well. Agents Act. Agents Take Action. Agents Against Child Trafficking. And then we started going into like exactly how are we going to help agents brand and showcase this? Because I think a big part of it is, look, agents at the end of the day, whether we like it or not, we have to be able to grow our business while we're doing things. You can't give back money you don't have.
Yep, 100%.
So we looked at this as like whether they're signing up for this to showcase like, hey, I'm giving back, or they actually want to give back. Either way, they're giving money back to the kids. Sure. So for me, I'm like, that's a win-win. So the way we positioned it is like we create custom branded pages that show you're an ambassador. So now like anybody who signs up, we have custom built pages that showcase them as an ambassador, newsletters to send out to their leads to say like, I'm giving back. This is where your money's going. Yeah. So we phase it as like good for their business. So we did that. And we actually flew over to Thailand and shot an entire documentary on what's actually going on, dude. And it's freaking sick.
Yeah.
Like it's really like people are selling their kids over there for a pack of cigarettes because they're getting promised that they're going to get sent to America.
Yeah.
And then you see like 4-year-olds chained up, like, and it's really tough. But the crazy thing is, if it wasn't for video, kids would not be being saved in Thailand. Right? Yeah. Like, and I think about that. So when I hear people say, I'm scared to get on video, here's what I tell them. Hey, imagine 5 years from now, your business is done good, but you know what? Like 5-10 years from now, your business is done good, but you just done good enough for yourself. Mm-hmm. You have a family member or a friend comes up to you like, hey, I need some money for college to start this business. And you know, you're like, hey, I'm sorry. I was too afraid to get in front of the camera. I have somebody else that comes up to me and say, hey, I need some help with medical bills. Like someone dear to me, like my mom or dad. Like, hey man, I'm sorry. I was too afraid to get in front of the camera. Yeah. So for me, I might be afraid to get in front of the camera still. Like right now, shit, like hopping on the studio, I'm coming up and man, these are the big boys here. Like we can I see y'all all the time. So I'm like, you know, I get in front of the camera all the time, but there's still that fear every time you get in front of it. But I am terrified of apologizing to loved ones in the future.
And that's one of the things I hope people hear out of this too. Like the anxiety part of this that keeps you from moving that part doesn't go away. I still very much will watch some of my stuff back and be like, God. Yeah. Dude, like that's not
episode 1 through 125.
Right. 1 through 139.
Yeah, 139. All of them.
That just does not ever go away, right? Yeah. Like there's no part of me that like there's stuff I'll put out sometimes like, man, that was a little more vulnerable than I wanted to be, or the exact opposite. That wasn't vulnerable enough, right? Like that actually doesn't land at all. That looks fake as shit. And I think as anybody who's doing video, period, the authenticity part of it is the biggest thing. Don't try and be somebody you're not.
And I'll give you know, there's several types of people in this. Like there's Kelderman who, you know, I would watch him do videos, right? And he can have a conversation on here and be real, raw, and authentic. And I'll watch his lives. I'm like, man, I wish I could do that. I'm like, really, I could. I just choose not to. Right. Or, you know, for me, if you watch a lot of my earlier videos, I never did my videos alone. I always had somebody next to me. It was always Elizabeth that I could, because that was my safety net or I always had a fear of doing live interviews, and then the other person drops off because they had bad internet connection, and then you're like,
I actually got interviewed once, and the person who was supposed to interview me dropped off for 20 minutes.
Yes.
So I was stuck on there live.
Yeah, I know that feeling. That may have happened to me one time when I was doing this show all by myself.
Sorry. Brian and I feel really bad as we were traveling.
I do remember
that. And then you've got the person who doesn't do video at all because they don't like the way they look, they don't like the way they sound, they don't know what they would say. And so you can combat that a lot of it. Like, even coming out of my comfort zone, if you go see the videos I do, a lot of that came originally when 2019, I purchased content cards, right? And then content cards on the backside that you had was the entire playbook script to become that digital mayor, the community champ, right? And that was, you had it scripted. And so what better way to start learning is scripting it out. Right. I mean, a lot of the stuff that if you go to the only real estate podcast, I think on Instagram is it Only RE or
Only RE podcast?
Only RE podcast on Instagram. You can see that we have Jesse on it, and we're starting to mess and dive into the reels, and it's Brian right now, by the way. It's all Brian.
It's just, I have the camera pointed at me, and that's our good camera.
Yeah.
Instagram doesn't like these jank ass camcorders that we got pointed at you guys. Yours is better today now.
It's better today. Yeah,
we're going to get you on there.
Looking good.
Make sure you say some real insightful stuff.
That's right. But on it, like a lot of the stuff that's coming from those reels, that wasn't scripted. That was the having natural real estate conversations. And if you're a real estate agent who's been in this business for over a year, I guarantee you that if you go to any networking event or around your water cooler at the office, I guarantee you can have a natural flowing conversation that would come off as authentic, that would come off as you really act like you know what you're doing and saying. And so why is it that when the camera turns on, the lights are on, you're like, nothing's coming out? Right? And so it doesn't, to me, it doesn't make any sense. And one of the suggestions I always told new agents is document your journey in the beginning.
Sure.
Because as you're learning it and document it, what you're putting out there every single day is, if you drop knowledge every single day that you just learned, the people don't know that you just learned it. And so when you drop it out there, guess what? You become that go-to expert. So, for example, if Brian and I wanted to start investing in the storage business, let's just say hypothetically, we wanted to get into the storage game.
Hypothetical?
And, we wanted to learn how to underwrite a storage investment opportunity, where to look at, how to start marketing to it. And we talked about it every day live and saying, you know what, we're going to hold ourselves accountable. And we want you to go on this journey with us of us buying our first storage facility. Right. And then we go and research it. We go study it. We go live every single day, 5 to 10 minutes. We talk about it. Do you think that in 30 to 45 days, people are either A, going to bring us storage deals?
Yeah.
B, they're going to start coming to us for storage related, type
advice.
We've
learned.
Yes. Consulting. That's all it is. Yeah. And you are 30 to 45 days into this journey yourself. Yeah. And now it's like you have a medical degree.
Dude, I mean, this is I love that, and let's totally start doing that. By the way,
yes. That's why I put it on camera.
This is a variation. Right. This is a variation of two different things that I want to bring up. So if you've ever read Joe Fairless's book, the apartment book that he wrote, he's written two, but the big thick best ever apartment syndication
it's too
book.
long.
It's way too long. It's like 500 pages. It's right up my alley.
Yeah,
it's what I'm doing when you're playing Call of Duty.
when you fall asleep.
Yeah. I was actually reading Dave Grohl's The Storyteller when I fell asleep last night. Yeah, but I'll definitely dive back into the Joe Fairless one. He talks about this exact sort of thing. Like, he's like, you want to start syndicating apartments? Start a podcast about syndicating apartments.
Yes.
And he's like, even if you don't know shit in the beginning, it's going to be a podcast about a guy who's learning to do apartment syndication.
Well, who again, if we're going to use real life case study examples, there's a guy that we all know, Ronnie Phillip.
Yeah.
Ronnie Phillip started that and documented his journey. And look, I know that he's got some ownership in apartments, and now, he is, people come and seek out his apartment investing and syndication advice.
He's gained a lot of influence.
Absolutely. And that is in less than 2 years, by the way.
Yeah, 100%. Wow. So you take that kind of idea and you parlay it. I mean, you just said the exact same thing, right? You do not want anybody to be able to accuse you of not having enough that you documented, right?
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Kelderman says this the perfect way, I think, all the time. He talks about there's a 70-year-old version of you that's looking back in the mirror that is just begging for you to do the right thing right now. And that is the only other thing that keeps people from doing video is, I don't know what to do. I'm scared. I'm whatever, right? Like, that person's counting on you to do something. And when you parlay that with that idea, when people ask, what should I do? What should I shoot? Who knows? I'm not you, right? Like the stuff that the content that Kelderman puts out is entirely different than the stuff that Nick puts out, right? Yeah. So there's no best advice. The best advice is, I guarantee you, if you start making commitment to doing this every single day, you're going to find out real fast the stuff that you're good at, what's in your comfort zone, and what you're going to do consistently.
And what do you know what I mean?
That's what it comes down to too. It's real estate's what you do. It's not who you are. Yeah. And people buy you for who you are. People work with you for who you are. So when all you do is get on here are the top 3 things to do if you're a real estate, like that bores people. We have to understand that people go to social media because they're lazy and bored. Yep. They go there because they're lazy and bored. I say this all the time. You'll probably hear me say it tomorrow too. Our true competition on social media, it's not, nobody at this table is my competition. Right. It's booties and babies. Yeah. That's our competition on social media. Yep. These dang Instagram models posting their, you know what, all over their Instagram. Yep. And it's babies on Facebook. They freaking take over Facebook, dude. It's just 2 different platforms. So it's understanding to combat that. So I know we were talking about the top 3 traits.
What if you have an Instagram model holding a baby that's your interview?
The internet, then you're just fucking viral on the spot. Yeah. The internet shuts down. Yes. It just shuts down. And then you throw a puppy in the background and it's just cake. Yeah.
Somebody pretty early on, it actually may have been Ryan Stewman in one of the early episodes, was talking about just go, you could do it right now. Yeah. Don't do it right this second because you'll leave the show. Yeah. But you can go to Instagram and literally scroll in your Instagram feed, and every 5th or 6th photo is an ad. Yeah. Now imagine if it was your Instagram feed and all that was ad after ad after ad for your business. That's just you talking about real estate, you talking about taxes. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Yeah. Now imagine every 3rd post was you doing that, and the other 2 posts were a picture of your kid and some damn thing that you like to do, right? Like I post a picture of my kid at the chiropractor for no other reason than it's cool, right? And I think it's cool that he goes to the chiropractor. I have people message me every single time. They're like, "Oh, is that really good?" And other people are like, "Oh, you shouldn't be taking kids that little to the chiropractor," right? Like, it doesn't matter what they say.
It's the strip club after that.
I know. Exactly. Just saying the whiskey I gave him to get him to relax. But people just don't understand. Like that's when Stewman said that to me, it even shifted my mind a little bit. Yeah. I don't have to be constantly creating content. Only 20% of the time do I have to come up with an idea. The other 80% of the time, I just got to do what the fuck I do all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? And it comes down to too. It's like really understanding like this is the new CRM. Like, don't get me wrong. Is anybody hear my email campaign? I know Nick is. I definitely have you on my email campaign? You know if you are, because I sent out over a million emails last year. We did the numbers, and I'm going for 10 million this year. Not more to the same people. I'm growing the list.
Thank you.
Yeah, but like, look, because I know. But look, he knows me. He knows damn well that he's going to get an email from me that we're going through it. So I'm not saying email marketing is dead by any means, but I'm aware that more people go on Facebook, Instagram, and social media. So we have to start thinking about this is a drip campaign that has literally all your potential clients in one place. I always say all my friends are clients. They're just not paying me yet. Yep. And I just keep dripping and like looking at a drip campaign for this.
I got years ago, and you may have done this. I started cleaning up I am very genuine and authentic on all social media. And if you're a lender, don't send me a friend invite. I'm just not going to accept it. Right. And the reason
5 emails from
exactly. Yeah. And the reason why is that lenders are not my target audience, right? I'm not speaking to lenders. There's nothing about my messages to lenders. There's nothing specifically they're going to provide me that I need either. I'm locked in certain departments, right? Yeah. So why would I take up a spot in my social media CRM with somebody who's not part of my audience? You go to my CRM now, it's high school and college friends, family, past clients, real estate agents. Yep. That's about it. Yeah. Right? And it will remain that way forever, especially on something like Facebook where you're limited as far as you go. Instagram, whatever. Anybody can follow me, do whatever on that side. But I think that's what people don't realize is it is a way for you to stay in contact. And here's the other thing. If you're doing this social media stuff at a high enough level, you're on your social media a lot. Yeah. Guess what else? You see what's going on in other people's lives. And then you can call and connect them about kids' graduations, dogs dying, whatever it is. You can be that person who it feels like you're a part of their life. Yeah. Right.
So Nick, you talked about kind of your step one, but let's talk about what also holds people back is usually the information they're putting out there. Right. So what would be a good source of information that people should? Is it? I mean, heck, we even talked about should people jump on these trending topics?
So I think like the trending topics, they can be valuable, but they're also trending, which means the moment you shoot them 10 days later, they're done.
Yeah.
They're not residual content. What I like to shoot is called residual content. We all like residual income here, right?
Love it.
So what I love is residual content. So it's content that I can shoot that I can continue to use over and over again.
So give us some examples.
Yeah, so I got you.
Right.
Goddamn interrupter.
Right. I was building it up, building it a little.
Sometimes the show,
my bit is interrupted. Nick's ID will flash.
All right, so here's an example, right? So something that you can shoot is a get to know me video. So the way we break this down is step one is tell them where you're at right now in real estate, what you're doing, and tell us your accolades. Why the hell should someone listen to you? And then you go into, but it wasn't always that way. And then you talk about where you got started and how you're doing. And then you give a hobby and something you like to do. Why? Because I can't tell you how many times I get in a video. So it's like, oh, you played football. My cousin's nephew plays. Like they bring up the most random things, but they make a connection through that.
You like dominoes?
Right, dude. It's the craziest shit. Like if you say fishing, everybody loves fishing or knows somebody who loves fishing.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? So then you talk about that, something about your family and how you grew up, and then you wrap it up with what makes you different. Why? Because I can use that video the rest of my career. That get to know me video, every time I get done talking to somebody, that get to know me video goes out. If I haven't met you yet, that get to know me video goes out every freaking time.
You know what should be done is every team member should have that when joining.
What if you automated it even for Google pay-per-click leads? You get the automation that goes into Constant Contact, sends the email out with the get to know me.
Well, and then what we do with our content cards, like those landing pages, is that, hey, if you have any questions, click the link below. So no matter what, whether it's an email, there's a link underneath it. Whether it's a landing page, there's a link underneath it. And now every single time somebody talks to me, they get that get to know me video, and they always pick something out. My mom had 13 brothers and sisters. I'm like the seventh oldest of like 52 first cousins. I got people hopping on here like just telling me the craziest stories. And I'm like, dude, I haven't even met you yet. But they just watch it but they also but here's the thing, they stay entertained through my hobbies. Sure. Make those connections. Sure. So that's like the get to know me video. That's the first one that I would always do.
Timestamp.
On top of that too, like again, like thinking about like especially new agents, all those problems you run into, I would interview a lender every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks. One of the weeks. Mortgage Mike. Mm-hmm. And I would do a market update, which is a trendy one, but you can send it out to your entire database after you're done to get an update from you. But after that, I'll go over top three mistakes people make when getting a loan. Don't buy a fucking car, right? Yep. But you shoot this video. Number one, it's great content at the time. Yeah. But guess what? Every time you start working with the buyer, they get a video from you. Top three things not to do. Top 100%. 3 things to do. And you literally shoot one with everybody, like every step in the process. Ooh. And now all those, like, think about that. One video saves one contract. Is that worth it?
Fuck yeah.
And then start thinking
you can use that for not even clients yet, prospects and everything.
Absolutely. Right? And then you have a whole video series on YouTube and these places built out of the different steps. And you don't think of the content. You don't go out there and try and create it. Literally, as you run into these problems, that's the next video.
Make a video.
You just make a video and then you add it to your process. So for me, that's residual content that I'll use throughout my career. That videos literally, like I said, I shoot videos that make money.
Yeah.
Because I realized at one point my mentor called me. He's like, dude, you're doing great on videos. I was doing this win the day segment. Because like I started doing like the most basic shit where I would have a picture and I would write a post on every Monday. I'm like, motivational Monday. Here we go. Sure. Right. But then one day I'm like, dude, I just couldn't write in words what I wanted to say. So I started shooting videos. He called me and he's like, hey Nick, I kept calling from Texas. I didn't know anybody in Texas at the time. So I'm like, oh, this got to be him, right? He's like, hey Nick, this is great. He's like, how are you making money off this? I'm like, what? He's like, how are you making money? I'm like, I don't know. And then I started realizing, I'm like, dude, this isn't fun. I'm spending time, energy, and effort. I'm losing money. Yeah, so I'm like, dude, I need to shoot videos that make money. So that's when I started coming up with this residual content idea. Start utilizing it, and it's just people feel so much more connected. And they feel like, man. Some people send out emails. Some people don't send anything at all. Sure. Some send an email. Nobody fucking reads. They don't even read in their free time. Why are they going to read an email that they don't understand these language patterns, right? But I send a video that's me, not anybody else. So who are they going to go to when they have a question?
Yeah.
The person who sends the video.
And you're using the medium that allows them to get to know, like, and trust you without you having to be in their face. And because that is the one thing I've always loved about video. It's better than text. It's better than email. Yeah. It gets all of the nuance of conversation right in front of somebody. And I don't have to do the effort. You're kind of blowing my mind with some of these residual videos that you're talking about, because I'm really great at throwing stuff on social media. But I'm the exact person you're talking about. I have no idea how it comes to my world. probably just through influence and staying top of mind with people, right? But
which is
trackable,
great.
And it's still just throwing stuff at the wall, right? Whereas like what you're talking about, I could immediately start implementing stuff like that in my business. If any of you are watching right now, I have done a piss poor job since my divorce and through COVID of staying in contact with my past clients, right? It is one of the biggest misses in my business. And I have been, very honestly, Brian knows this, for months, it has been causing me to sit into an action, right? Like, what if I just took this video idea and didn't make one video for every single person, right? Because I think if I just did a blanket video, that'd be terrible. But literally addressing each person with a video and just acknowledging the fact that I was a shit agent at following up with them. And being the person that I promised them I would be. And while I understand if I've damaged the relationship, we might just save this now. While I understand if I've damaged the relationship to the point where they no longer want me as their professional real estate agent, I do want them to know that I'm still here as a resource for them. I did enjoy my time working with them. And you know what I mean? Like, because that's the kind of, like, that's how I feel in my head. Like, I'm like, damn it, I made these promises and I didn't follow through with all of them for everybody. And now I'm afraid to pick up the phone and call them back because they're going to tell me I'm an asshole. Right. Like, and so now I'm thinking of all these ways that some of the things that have even been hangups in my business. Because I know real estate agents feel this way about their past clients.
Let me ask you this. What if you took that one step further and you've got Jesse, you know, you've got a great tool there with you with Jesse of how talented he is. And you did a monthly past client newsletter, but it's a video newsletter format. And it's highlighting, like, you're showing off you and Luke. It's you're just talking real estate in general, but you're also talking about your personal stuff where it brings it back down. And so then you're sending that out. If that was once a month, not every week, like once a month. Now, what is it doing? It's still keeping the connection with you, right? They're knowing you're highlighting something. It's like, you know, back in the day, we used to see it a lot. During the end of the year, you would get the family newsletters and say, little Billy lost his first tooth and he's no longer shitting his pants. And
that's with some bullshit because Billy's not that impressive.
They got to come up with something for Billy, right?
I remember my mom.
Billy wet his bed 3 times.
Yeah, exactly. I remember my mom writing one. It was the year that I dropped out and got my GED. And she's like, you know, Nick left school early, but he's going to college. And I'm like, well, yeah.
I'm taking my GED to community college.
Well, you know, like he's partying at college. He's driving. He's on his way right now.
He lives pretty close to campus.
Right.
Yes. So, I mean, that to me, no one's doing that strategy. By the way, no one is incorporating that next level where it's keeping. You know, it's keeping you front and center, but actually it's making it more relatable, which is what you're the expert on at you know, being authentic and relatable. Brian and I might struggle at that, but you know, it would be easy for us to do.
Personality is a facade.
But
but that's so true, dude. I love that, right? Like this is where we get so sideways with overthinking this type of stuff, right? I have, going back to one thing you said earlier, and I want to parlay it. Like, what if we just view, I talk about this on our group coaching sessions all the time. What if you viewed your social media as a CRM and a window to all the ways that you could provide value to people in your world, right? And so, one, I've challenged people to, instead of doom scrolling, I'm so onto that term doom scrolling. I love that.
Where'd that come from?
One of our coaches, Mia Yamashita, said that the other day. One of our Livian coaches. She talked about doom scrolling. And that just is one of those things where you don't need it explained to you.
Yeah.
You just immediately you're like, I do that.
I'm like, dude, I fucking get it.
I get it. I do it all the time, right? Like, instead of doom scrolling, you identify needs in your social media, right? And then fulfill those needs, right? And that doesn't have anything to do with video. That's just having to do with viewing your social media as a CRM, right? And everything that you can do on video is just enhancing your message and making it resonate more. One of my big challenges to our group coaching clients, our group coaching partners this last week was, I want you to create an engaging post that gets a ton of comments, right? Which is easy enough to do. The one that I challenge to do is, how far do you live right now from where you grew up? How many miles? Right. And you would be, and like thousands. They're getting tons of comments, obviously. Like those types of posts.
Everyone loves sharing their opinion.
100%, right? I'm challenging you to send a video message to every single person that commented, right? Going, oh my God, I had no idea you grew up in Oregon, man. And then, and I challenged it because I was like, what are your fears around this? Let's call them to the carpet. Let's identify them. I was like, they're like, I don't know what to say on the video. I was like, look, somebody grew up 1,000 miles from here. Just say, hey, I just wanted to own it. Say, I wanted to shoot a video because I send a lot of Facebook messages and a lot of them don't get read. And I know video messages do. I just want to say, oh my gosh, I had no idea you grew up that far away. I'd love to know what it was like growing up there, man. Good to talk to you. I hope to hear from you soon. It's been a while since we connected, blah, blah, blah. Do you know how much more that message resonates than, hey, thanks for commenting. I had no idea you grew up. Like, I'm going to ghost that immediately if I'm busy. I will always read a video message. The same way that we do, this is the first thing you should implement in your business. If you are not doing video messages for every single person on your social media's birthday, you are missing it in a huge way. Any asshole can put, what is it? HBD. Wow.
Right.
It's cool. I only have a degree in
spelling
writing.
ain't me forte.
Yeah, right. Like any idiot can do that, right? We encourage all of our agents to send personalized video emails or video messages every single day. Just, hey man, hope you have an amazing birthday, blah, blah, whatever. And then I even again say that again, like Kelderman does a great job of this. Own whatever format you're using and be unbridledly honest in all of your actions. Meaning like, hey, I just wanted to shoot you a video because I know a bunch of people are posting on your wall right now. And I wanted you to make sure that you knew that I didn't forget your birthday. Happy birthday. I hope it freaking is amazing, blah, 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 whatever. Like people are always weird about like, well, I want to shoot a video that's so different. Own that it's different. Right. Own it. Enjoy it because your people will. Yeah. They love it.
Man, I'll tell you what. No, that's a great point. That's getting into one of the things I was going to talk about too is video messages and personalized video messages. The best thing you can do in a personalized video message, I always say there's two things that you got to do in every single video message. The first is always say their first name in it. Yeah. Always make sure they know that video is just for them because you got to think about what do people think about as a real estate agent? We're a commodity. We're a used car salesman. Like that's what people think about real estate agents sometimes. And if I shoot you a video that's, hey, I just want to reach out to you, you immediately think everybody in your database just got that. Yeah. You almost lose some rapport if you don't say their first name. Yeah. So I always say their first name in it and never, ever, ever, ever watch it before you send it. If you watch the video before you send it, well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to shoot it 10 other times.
That might be the best point anybody's made all day, man.
That play button is the fucking worst enemy.
It is.
Even after you send it, don't watch it.
It is.
The one video I shot, I was shooting a video. I'm like, man, Lisa, I screwed up the script so bad. And my brother started throwing things at me. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, like she called that crying, laughing. She was loving it. But man, that video text message, and here's what I say. Every time you hang up the phone with somebody you've never met before in person, shoot them a video message. I don't care if they told you to F off.
Tell the story why. Because I actually use this now in my trainings.
Okay, I want to hear this.
I now use this where you talked about, you talked about how to hold appointment rates at like a 33% higher rate.
Yeah. So what we would do is when I was at a call center, right? So I was able to work with like 80 different clients across the country. And this was like in Canada and everywhere else. So I got a big field to play with here. So what we did is the biggest difference that we found is when people would open up the doors with like open arms when they would come over there. So what we saw was it was a 25% higher closing ratio, not appointment show up, closing on the listing appointments because we started shooting the video text. We started implementing with other teams. It would range anywhere from 23 to 26% higher closing rate because of this video message. Because you think about this, what's the initial thing you have to do when you go over to a listing appointment? Gain rapport. Yeah. Get them to know, like, and trust you. You are doing that before you even walk in. You're putting yourself above everybody else. Dude. You shoot a personal video message. Now it's like getting a referral because here's what happens. They got 5 other agents coming over. They forget who they are. They don't know what they look like. They're peeking out the window.
It's happened to me.
They're peeking out the window saying, who is this? Like, I don't even know who this is. Is this the guy? I don't know. And instead, they look out the window. They see you. They start in a video message smiling. They open the door and say, what's up, Nick? What's going on? It's an entire world of difference.
And you use the analogy of you're walking down the street, right? And you see this, like, whatever. Think of a puppy, like the cutest puppy, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
This is how you did it.
I know what you're talking about.
And you said, you're walking down the street and you saw this, mine would be like a white lab. Yeah. And it's, puppies are great. They're fun. You're not thinking of all the shit you're getting into later. Right. But you can't bring a dog home. Right. What's the one thing you don't do to that dog? You don't name it.
You don't name it.
You don't name the dog.
Right.
Yep. You start, or like my aunt has cows. Yeah. They raise cattle, and her husband, he's like, don't name the cattle. Don't name them because those things are like you're about to be eating the whole Sally over there.
Mary,
yeah. And so you don't name the puppy because you're not going to grow attachment to it. It's the same thing. And when we started incorporating video after each call, on a cold lead especially, we started incorporating. Brian Murray does this, and what's funny with him, I was going to say annoying but frustrating, but what's funny with him is he walks up and down the hallway after a call and he shoots it like 4 or 5 times. I'm like, but I'm like, dude, just go with it. Just send it. It's like, hey, Nick, it's Nick Good here. It's great talking to you. I'm just going to follow up with you here in a couple weeks. But if there's anything, man, that comes up, just let me know. I want to be your realtor for life. And once you hire me, the job's not done. The job is just now beginning.
Dude, you're right. That's why we call it Name the Puppy.
Yeah,
you're right. Yeah, I couldn't think of it.
I've stolen it.
I have slides of literally a puppy on the screen.
Yeah, that might have been the most actionable advice we've ever given on this show. If you are having any trouble holding your appointment, regardless of what, you just can enhance your appointments. Right. Every single time you get off the phone with a prospect, shoot a follow-up video. And when you set an appointment, shoot a video. Say, hey, man, I just wanted to put a face to the name. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Saturday, man. If there's anything that comes in between now and then, this is my cell phone number, blah, blah, blah. Jesus, I want to take that a step forcing them to name the puppy.
I want to take that a step further, too. I'm telling you, the leads that told you to F off, you shoot them a video message.
I believe this.
Here's what happens. Here's what I started realizing. Everyone else stopped calling them. Everyone else deleted this lead. They didn't remember who is a realtor even in their phone. They don't know. But guess what? We all know they still need to freaking sell their home or buy a home.
Yes.
But guess what? I shot them a video message and said, hey, it's Nick here. If you have any questions, Brian, any questions at all, just go ahead and reach out to me. I'm your realtor if you need me.
An interesting KPI.
The callbacks were insane.
Yeah.
I started getting, it was about 1 out of 4 people would call me back. Out of the people who told me to F off. The people who literally, like, I'm not even just saying the people who said not interested.
Yeah. The
people who would, like, be angry at the phone. But guess what? We all know they need a realtor, and chances are they got their 50 calls that day.
Dude, that's an insane mindset around that. If you were able to track a KPI that was just like the ratio of people that told you to F off to the ratio of people that actually went and listed again, every single one of them does.
Yeah.
But we just give up.
Right.
Why don't we shoot a video and just say, hey, man, I know you told me just to F off, so I'm just shoot you a video so I can save you some time. Watch this at your leisure. Yeah. I would love to have a conversation with you every get a chance. I know you get pounded by 50 realtors today, but I'm available whenever you're ready. And I apologize for my kind or whatever, right?
And think about what you're doing even for yourself in that. You're taking something that normally is frustrating, that makes you feel bad about yourself. Like when somebody tells you to F off, the reality is most people don't shrug that off the way that we tell them to. It sits with them. You've now just taken the energy of that FU and completely changed the dynamic with that person by sending them. You're forcing yourself to smile, be light in voice, be lighthearted with somebody who just was unkind to you. That's just a personal exercise and a habit that you're going to need in every aspect.
You're like, hey, this is Matt. It was great talking to you just now.
But I like the way
I won't be an asshole about it. Like, look, I'm with you. It is good to have a good spin on it. I'm just like, hey, look, if you have any questions all about real estate, Brian, and I always say their first name in it, Brian, if you have any questions at all about real estate, I know it might not be the time right now, but if you have anything you need in the future, just go ahead and reach out to me.
Dude, I've easily got 3 or 4 things that I need to be doing on video from this.
Think about
it's like it's so late.
And here's a couple other tips with that too. Is I would not shoot your video text message in the studio.
Yeah,
because then it seems
looks
salesy.
It's got to
be seems salesy. Dude,
100%.
Leaving the gym, dude, I'm telling you, leaving the gym or like leaving something where you're sweaty, you're outdoor, you're working. That's the best results. When you guys are out there, you're moving. When a listing appointment's 5 minutes late, you got 5 minutes, boom, shoot 3 video messages.
Yeah,
getting out of the car, moving, because then people are like, wow, when you say their first names, like they really took time out of their busy day to send this.
Yes,
so you actually create rapport instead of saying, hey, Brian, I was just thinking about you. Like, no, you freaking weren't. It's like you have lights,
your
makeup
reminder
in
went
a studio,
off.
right? So I think that's one. And I'll tell you what, dude, we just been testing this too with some of the teams we're working with. Yeah. This is a freaking game changer, right? So how to really get those people to even stop telling you to F off. The pickup rates have gone through the roof. Granted, they have to have an iPhone. FaceTiming even your cold leads.
Really?
I'm telling
you. Ballsy,
it is
dude.
ballsy. It is ballsy. But let me ask you this. When you get a FaceTime from somebody, do you automatically assume, like, I must know this person?
No, I don't.
You don't?
No.
I don't get any accidental FaceTime. So, yes, I do assume that.
I have gotten some, and I don't answer it. I'm
Nick also legit.
So we can't get everyone to answer the phone.
Nick built a bomb shelter during COVID, so he's always thinking worst case scenario.
I'm like, that's how they get you.
Yeah.
Look, now they've captured my face.
That's how they get the
Nick's not going to get got. Look, there's some people we can't get to answer, but I'm like, what happens is most people assume it's somebody that they know, so they answer.
Let me ask you this. What if you did a FaceTime audio call?
It's not the same, because here's the other part of it, though. Wait for this. What happens is when they pick it up and you see them face to face, it's essentially like an appointment. And now those people telling you to F off, they don't tell you to F off because they see you. Yeah. And on top of that too, you don't get it as much. They still might.
I'll try.
But here's what happens too. Those RDRs are those people that they just say over the phone, like, hey, I'm busy. I got this going on. When you see them, all those go out the window because they're so fussed. Like, oh yeah, I got time.
We see this Nick is so right. We see this in our world all the time. Imagine how people treat each other on Facebook that they don't know the strangers as opposed to like a town hall meeting. You just start calling people sluts at town hall meetings, but you'll do whatever on Facebook. It brings out the worst.
Here's what we do. Challenge. Jesse films it. Okay. We do it all three. Okay. We go down the list and make calls.
Let's do it. And they gotta have an iPhone though too.
For sure.
Yeah.
I would be down for that. I'll fail miserably, and I love it.
Mad awkward. It is really awkward.
Sure.
Going to be easy.
If you can do that though, you can do just about anything else.
They are trusting though too. That's a good point. But it's one of those where they like somebody got me on this. Like it was somebody that I did know, but I'm looking at this FaceTime. I'm like, I gotta know them. Yeah. Like nobody just FaceTime. And the funny thing too is think about this. I had one of my buddies, like I'm saying buddies now, he FaceTimed me and I'm like, wait, are we that close? Like I honestly thought, like, I don't think we're that close, but you must think we are.
Yeah.
So if I'm getting FaceTime, I'm automatically assuming that this person thinks we're close enough to FaceTime because that's like a personal thing, right? So automatically you create that rapport, and all of a sudden you guys are. I'm telling you, you're gonna start joking with each other because like, dude, you just FaceTime me. Like, yeah, I just FaceTimed you. Dude. Like, dude, it creates like this. It's like an instant icebreaker.
Yes.
Because they're like, what the fuck is this?
Well, and here's the thing is I have to recognize as much as I sit here and I'm like, oh God, right? Like this is the same thing I tell agents all the time when they'll have a whole list of people to call and they have their addresses and they have their phone numbers and they have their email addresses. And they always just want to, by default, just start texting people because it's the least confrontational thing. Right. And there's going to be some people who engage through text.
Protects our feelings the most.
Exactly. And there's going to be people who, if I called them, they would pick up and have a good conversation. Yeah. If there's people I've went and knocked on the door, that same list has 4 different kinds of people on it from how they probably want to be communicated, right? And this is the same thing with that. There are going to be some people like Nick who are never even going to pick it up. Yeah. There's some people like Brian who would probably pick it up and then make it really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then like there's probably people out there like Theron's talking about that would pick it up and full on engage in a conversation with you and be the best part of their freaking day.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
I don't know, man.
I got 2 tips that I feel like I got to give that have nothing to do with video, but they're gangster that like, all right. So the first one is the best closing gift that I've ever witnessed. So what happened was I went somewhere with my mom. This was like 2 years ago, right? I went somewhere with my mom and they walked into a house and somebody had a picture of their family in front of their new home on their mantle. And then also my mom's like, oh, look at your family. It's so nice. When did you get that? She's like, as a matter of fact, my real estate agent came by and took it when we bought the home. They start talking about this agent for 5 minutes. So like, think about this. Every time you sell a home to a family, get the photographer to come back and take a family picture. That shit's going on the mantle. Yeah. It's the conversation piece. Whenever anybody walks in, that's a nice picture. When'd you get that?
Kristen!
And no matter what, they talk about you all the freaking time. Because every time the mom walks home or the dad, they look at the picture and they think about when they got that.
Yeah.
So that's one. The second is direct mail. This direct mail one is badass. What somebody did is they would send out $5 scratch off to their like past clients. Because like you're playing that, you're thinking of win. But the trick with this too is how do you get them to open that first one? So here's what we did. Put like a weight into the into the envelope. Because now when they're going through their mail, they're flipping through, they're like, it's heavy. Like, what the fuck's in here? So you get them to open it and they get a scratch off. Now they're like, shit, if they win $20, you got a client for life.
Oh, bro.
It's like, oh my God, it's the best day ever. But now those scratch off, they're playing it and they're winning. It's gamifying being with you. And now when you send them something else, they're going to open it.
Every single time you send them something else, they're going to open it.
Oh, every single time. But that weight gets them to open it initially. Because no matter what, you're looking at like, what is in this envelope? You know what I mean? You just want to know. Your curiosity is piqued. Dude, and then that scratch off, $5 scratch off, I'm telling you, they even win $5. They're like, shit, they're going to the store. They think about you all the time now. I love that. Yeah.
Yep. Those are good ones.
Those are super good.
Let's go, boys.
This was really good.
Thank you for coming on.
That was super actionable. And like
really good actionable nuggets, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, let's do some dumb shit. Jesse, what do you got for us?
I haven't seen you pull this up.
This could get down the rabbit hole, though. We're going to need more context. We'll start with this one, but I don't think there's enough context.
All right.
If your best friend killed somebody and you knew about it, would you turn them in and why?
Who'd they kill?
I'd have to know why they killed somebody.
Oh, I'd have to know who'd they kill. Why isn't as important? Like if it's someone I don't know and I wouldn't turn them in.
I think I don't know. I feel like Nick Good and I'm snitching, bro. I ain't that dude. Listen, here's the thing: is the second I know about you killing somebody, my ass goes to jail too, and I ain't built for jail. That's a good point. I ain't built for jail.
That's a good point. Yeah, no. Neither am I. I'm flipping.
Yeah,
I flipped this quick at this table. Yeah, I'm flipping.
I know. I understand the concept. I'm just saying,
right. In reality,
almost everybody's snitching. Just like most people ain't running in the burning building. Just like most people aren't diving in front of a bullet. Almost everybody's snitching.
Because let me ask you, like when the cops come and question you, you're not going to be calm, cool, and collected. You're going to be fidgeting. You're going to be like, no, I don't know where
just happened.
Where Brian was.
Who's Brian?
Wait, which
Who's
Brian?
Brian
who? Which last name? I got a lot of friends named Brian. Oh, Brian Force. How does he spell his last name?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I'm gonna tell you right now where I stand on this. I just got 2 tax appraisals protesting. It to be yesterday for properties that I've got to protest the taxes on. Yeah. Both of them were mailed to Snitches Get Stitches LLC. That is an actual
Are you serious?
entity that I own.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm not snitching on anyone.
Yeah.
But I also don't know why you killed the person. That's why that's not in that context. Let me ask you this one, though.
Yeah.
This is going to be weird.
All right. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. You have the choice. You can
your family's hanging out of cliff.
Are you doing this one? All right. Go
ahead. No, not the family.
Get it on camera.
No. I like this one. This is going to be a little weird, but I like this one. You have 2 choices. You can either save 3 people.
Yeah.
But there's a 50% chance that one of them is a serial killer. Or you could hit a grand slam in the bottom of the 9th.
Grand slam.
The World Series game says it for a walk-off home run.
Dude.
But 2 people will die that are not serial killers.
But then the serial killer is going to kill more people.
It's only a 50% chance that one of them.
What if
You're
the serial killer just
that at least 2 people will die.
What if the serial killer just kills all 3 of us right there, and then I just missed out on a grand slam?
That's why everything it's a paradox, dude. What if none of them are serial killers?
Oh, wait, no.
Exactly. You're not sure it's a serial killer. I said it's a 50% chance.
Oh.
What if I'm the serial killer?
There's always a chance.
I think I saved the people just because.
Just in case.
I thought,
but I think you could find plenty of things where I would opt into that.
If your team loses the World Series and that dude kills a bunch of people, you're gonna feel so bad.
Well, yeah, then I get nothing. I
think I know. Look, so here's what I'd say. I would save the people because no matter what, I'm in the MLB, so I'm making millions. I'm a baseball player, so I'm coming out either way.
Yeah, that's
so fair. Even if we lose, great. I was in the World Series.
Yeah, you don't get cut or anything. That's a good way to look at it, I guess. I can't believe all those people might die.
So Nick supports serial killers.
Exactly.
CNN comes out with
I support victory. I'm taking the home run. Yes. I'm a slow trot around the bases.
Slow trot.
I'm for the home run. Grand slam it all day.
Grand slam it?
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't want to take the risk of the serial killer.
Here's what I'm thinking. If I hit that home run, you know how many babies are going to be conceived that night? We're just going to make those people right back up.
We're going to make it up. Oh shit!
All right,
That's a good one. That was a good one.
Nick, where can people find you?
Yeah, guys, just go to nickkrem.com. Just how you spell my name, NICKKREM.com. We just got a bunch of free courses, free training, branding classes, the 10 hours of the Live with Leaders training we talked about. You guys can go there and get all of it. Just go there and get a bunch of information.
Absolutely, and if you want to check out his content cards and become the community champ, if you're struggling with video there. Look, it's cheap. It's like $19 a month, or if you pay it up front, it's $200 a year. You get this the digital branding website card, but really it's for the scripts on the back end and walks you through it. So if you're struggling with video, I would highly suggest taking a look at it. Just let them know that the Only Real Estate Podcast crew sent you over there. And all of our great sponsors, armadillo.one/tour for the best home warranty in Texas. Mortgage Mike of Texas.com. for the best lender, as well as homeward@dfw.com if you need that property management company to really manage those assets for you and make sure that you don't get in the way.
You don't get in the way.
You don't get bingo.
That's a weird way to promote a product.
I know.
Just get out of your own way.
Just leave.
Just let us handle it. We got it from here.
And if you're around the DFW tomorrow, come out to McKinney. See me and Duble Nicks. From 3 to 6.
Yeah.
My personal Facebook page. You can find a link to it's probably other places on Nick's page.
Nick's page, my page. Go find it.
Page.
Brian will be there in a suit.
Guys, and if you guys are tuning in virtually too, we have a virtual option. You guys can tune into the entire virtual event live. Make sure you guys do that. That one is absolutely no cost. You have no reason not to show up for that. Like I always say, events, like especially events when you have so many great speakers, it takes one speaker, one thing to change your life.
100%.
That's what it did for me. I went to one event.
I got a couple of those today.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's just like, especially like, dude, your life can change by hearing one person speak. You owe it to yourself. We have best-selling authors, people, international branding company. You have people, team lead, people who are producing at a high level, changing people's lives, doing podcasts. You owe it to yourself to show up to this.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty awesome. I'm excited about it. And I'm a little nervous. I finally saw like the guest list a couple of days ago. I called Nick. I was like, "Oh, this is like a thing." I thought we were just like bullshitting around on a panel. I was like, I gotta bring my normal bullshit.
Right. I gotta get my blue suit out. Like this is serious.
I bought my first suit last year.
Don't worry, it'll be locked up until the next.
I'll wear mine. I got mine. The Good Home Team T-shirt will be there. It will be there.
Always. All right, boys. It's been real. Jesse, get us out.
I appreciate you guys.
Hey, thank you for watching. We truly appreciate it. Checking out another episode of the only real estate podcast worth listening to. If you're watching this on YouTube, please go ahead, hit that share button, hit that like button, and hit the subscribe button. Right? We're dropping more stuff on YouTube constantly. If you're on iTunes, leave us a review, please. We're really, really focused on building up those reviews so we can get more searchable content on there. And if you're on Facebook, like everyone else is, go over and search the only real estate group worth being a part of. You're going to want to go join that group. I'm telling you right now, there's so much gold in there. So go join, share us on YouTube, and leave us that iTunes review. Please go do it right now. We'll see you on the next show.